In this video, I'm going to run you through the only success formula that you will ever need to grow a business online, in person. In this case, it's online. But this is the only proven formula that I know of, and it is proven. It's not a magic pill, but it is a guiding way of thinking about business where you never get stuck wondering what to do. You always know what to do. Now, most coaches and creators are just doing stuff. And your entire job as a coach who wants to grow a real business is not to be busy with lots of clients or to be doing more content and outposting everybody else. Your one job is to identify and solve the next bottleneck in the business. If you're stuck right now, it's not because you're bad at coaching or because the market is saturated. It's because you've hit a constraint or a bottleneck. Now, if you think of your business like a factory line, the output of the factory can only go up as fast as its slowest station. So if you have a bunch of different stations around a room, if there's one station that's very slow, there is going to be a build-up behind that station, and the output on the other side of that station is also going to be slowed. Now, if we fix the station, the input from behind and the output beyond would move a lot faster, and that bottleneck would be solved. Until that bottleneck is, of course, fixed or solved, the whole time, the whole line and the time it takes for things to be done is capped. And that is the same in your business. Business is fundamentally just problem solving. And when we're solving problems for other people. But the very first place that you need to be problem solving is in your own business. Now, we're going to look at this to put it into a usable formula. And this formula is absolutely incredible. It has made my understanding of business so much clearer, and I really, really understand what to do in my business. So we've basically got 5 stages of your production line, if we think of your business like a factory, in terms of acquiring clients and making sales and delivering to clients, right? Now, there's lots of other stuff that is not factored in here, like doing your accounts and doing your taxes and all of this kind of stuff that is not directly related to you signing up a client. So what we're really just looking at here is from somebody who doesn't know you to knowing you, to giving you money, to becoming a client, to joining your program, to whether or not they have a good experience. Basically, the entire client journey is what we're looking at here. So there'll be some things that fall outside of this bracket, but 95% of what you do in business is going to be these 5 things. So first and foremost, we start with traffic and audience, and I'll run you through these so you understand them. First and foremost, we need people to actually know us, to know we exist, to be able to sign people up. If we have the best coaching program in the world, the best skills in the world, but I'm just sitting here in this room, I have no social media, nobody can see me, nobody knows about me, I don't tell anybody, it doesn't matter how good my program is, if nobody knows about me and nobody sees me, it doesn't mean anything because I can't sell it. Now, that should be obvious, but we have to think about that. Assume we have an audience. Maybe we already have an Instagram audience. Maybe we have an audience in person in a gym. Maybe we have an audience of friends. Maybe we have an audience at some sports club that we go to. We probably all have some audience. Unless we're a hermit living in a cave, we have some audience. However, we need to identify as the next step whether or not we have leads or interested people in that audience for the thing that we sell. So, for example, if I've got a great audience and they know me and they like me and they followed me, but they follow me because I'm very good at horse riding, and now suddenly I'm going to sell business coaching, even though I've got an audience of people, the likelihood that those people are actually interested in what I sell is quite low. Now, there might be a few, but even if we have an audience of 5, 10,000 people, if they're not leads and interested people and they're not following us for the right reason, then we have attention, but we don't have interested people. What can also happen is we have attention and we have an audience, but we don't know who is interested and we don't know who is a good fit for our program. And that's a problem that we solve. So assuming we have people following us and we have people who are interested, then we must put them into a sales process. So imagine that we want to sign up someone to our program. If they say, yeah, I'd be a bit interested in coaching or I'd be interested in X, Y, and Z, we we have to know where to bring them. We can't just wait for them to buy because they don't know how to buy. So we need to know how to sell because they don't know how to buy, and we need a sales process, which we will look at. Finally, not finally, but finally before they become a client, because this is the point at which they become a client, they go through a sales process, which might be a conversation. It might be a DM conversation. It could be an email flow. We look at all of those things. I just want you to understand the concepts for now. Finally, we get to this point, conversion. Does the person go through the sales process, come from the audience, identify as interested, go into a sales process, and do they convert into a client? Because if we've tons of audience and loads of interested people, and we know exactly how to get them to a sales call, but nobody signs up, then the bottleneck here is conversion. Finally, assuming our conversion is good, if people are actually signing up to the program and they're coming in, are we delivering? Are people staying? Is the program getting results? And this is all going to come under delivery. So we can basically bucket everything that we need to do into one of these 5 buckets for the most part. When it comes to basically putting money in the bank and putting clients on the roster, it's all going to come down to these 5 things. Now, we have to problem solve the whole way through. And the solution that we need is to be able to identify and solve problems by looking at these 5 areas. And you will see these come up time and time again. If you're someone in my community, someone I coach, these come up all the time. But we need to be able to identify which of these 5 areas is the current bottleneck or constraint that we need to fix. So for example, traffic and audience. Do enough people know that you exist? If you don't have fresh eyes on you every week, nothing else matters. Now, at the beginning, you probably have enough eyes to get a few clients on board without needing to grow, but over time, you need to expand your audience and grow. If you didn't have enough people who knew you, and if you didn't have eyes on you every week, there are solutions to this problem of not having traffic and audience. And those solutions would be content, if you're able to get followers and engagers from your content. It might be collaborations with other people on podcasts or social media. It might be advertisements, paid ads, Instagram ads or Facebook ads. Or it might be following strategies if you're looking for something that's budget friendly and easy to do, which we cover all of these in the mastermind. But these are just some solutions to this specific problem. I'm going to tell you why this is important. Leads. Interested person. So out of that audience, how many are actually raising their hand to show interest? If you're posting and you're getting followers, but you're not getting conversations or replies about the stuff that you sell, then this is your bottleneck. Now, again, to solve this problem, we would create a lead magnet. We would create a hand raiser, which would be to vote in a poll or hit a button. We might have to actually look at our marketing and make our marketing better. And we might just have to have more conversations overall to find out who's interested in our audience. So if we've got audience, and this can happen where people are bringing in a lot of followers from viral content, but the traffic and the audience that they're bringing in are coming in because they're entertaining, not because they're interested in the thing that they sell. And so what happens is they get tons of these people and they don't realize that nobody is actually interested in the solution. I'm getting lots of followers and they think they need more followers. So they're trying to solve the lead problem where people are not reaching out for coaching by bringing in more people. But what they're actually fixing is the traffic problem, which is a problem they don't have. So it's really, really important to think through this way of thinking, like, what is my current bottleneck and what is the thing that I need to solve, and identifying that first. Because if you have tons of audience and you're not getting people who are interested, or you have tons of audience and interested people, but they're not leading to sales, you don't need more audience. You've already got the audience. That's not the problem. You need leads, you need interested people, or you need a better sales process, or you need better conversion. If you've tons of people coming into your program, right, on delivery, but they all leave after 30 days because it's a terrible program, you can't just continue to bring in more and more people here because you're essentially filling an empty bucket. So we need to be able to identify what we need to solve before we sit down and do our day's work. Now, if we have a problem with our sales process where we've lots of people interested, but we just don't know how. And I've had this with clients of mine who had massive followings and, you know, hundreds of thousands of people. And they said, I have people DMing me all the time, but I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to close them. I don't know how to actually turn this into a sale. So if you do not have a simple path to move interested people into a call or an offer, and if you don't know what to do when someone shows interest, you'll be stuck here and you'll stall because this next phase in the factory line is broken. Solutions again here will be DM flows, so things that you say in the DMs, email flows, micro offers, which are small paid offers that bring people a little bit deeper, and funnels. Again, this isn't always going to be immediate, but longer term, these are the solutions. So if we're building out funnels, but we don't have any leads and interested people to put into the funnel, then we have to actually go back here and make sure that our marketing is right, because otherwise we're building a funnel, but it's built on shitty marketing that isn't working. So again, don't worry if this goes over your head and you don't understand the actual pieces, but just think about, what is the problem that I'm solving? What do I actually need to do? Are you actually turning calls into clients? So maybe you're booking lots of calls. Maybe you've got a good sales process. You have conversations with people, you get them on a call, but then they don't convert on the call. If your calendar is full, but you're not closing sales, then the bottleneck is here. You don't need more people. You don't need more leads. You don't need a better sales process. You need better conversion. And that is going to come down to having a better offer. If your offer isn't good enough, it's going to come down to improved sales skills, or maybe it's going to come down to better quality prospects. And again, once we get down here, as you've probably guessed, there's more problem solving to do. Once we identify its conversion, then we actually have to look and go, okay, well, why are people not converting? Maybe the offer is not good enough. Maybe the sales skills are not good enough. Maybe we need better people on the phone. Maybe we're not actually pre-qualifying the people we have conversations with. So again, we're problem solving. This entire journey of building an online business is problem solving over and over and over and over again. Identify the next problem to solve it, review. Identify the next problem, solve it, review. Over and over and over and over again. And this breaks it down to a nice, easy to understand way. Now, finally, delivery. So assuming you're getting clients, you've got traffic and audience coming in, you're able to identify the people in that traffic and that audience who are leads or interested people in your service or the thing that you sell. You've got a pretty straightforward process for getting them from, yes, I'm interested, to come and have a call with me. You're closing them, so they're happy to join the program, they're joining, but they're not getting results, they're not staying, and they're not referring. This is when we need to start looking at delivery. So again, if someone pays, do they stay? Do they get results? Do they refer? If not, you're always going to be chasing new sales instead of building real momentum, and you're going to be filling a leaky bucket, okay, a bucket with holes in it. This is where we need to actually build out client journeys, better programs, referral systems or cultures, and money maps. So if we are at the start of the journey and we've got some audience, but we're not able to get people to a sales call, if you go and you start changing your client journey and making your program better, thinking that's going to fix the fact that you can't get people on a call, that's just not going to solve the problem, because we're solving a problem. We're solving a problem here at delivery that doesn't even exist yet because we don't have clients, versus if we're struggling to get people to take a call, we need to be looking somewhere behind the point of taking a call. So conversion is where they take a call and they convert into a client. If we're not getting calls booked, we don't need to solve anything ahead of calls. We need to solve behind calls. We need to look at the sales process. We need to look, do we have interested people to put in that process? And do we have people at all, period? So this is how I want you to think. This is the only success solution that exists, and it is the problem-solving solution. Find the next problem to solve, and if you don't know what the next problem to solve is, then that is the next question to ask. I'm not sure why this is smaller, but it should be the same size. That is the next question that you need to ask if you're not sure what you need to solve. And at the start of every week, I ask myself this question. And this solution or this framework is going to be the only success system you ever need. Am I clear on what I need to do in the next 7 days? Am I clear on the next problem to solve? And if not, that is the question to ask. So if we don't know what problem to solve, that is what we have to ask. That is why we have communities, mentors, people to help us. That is the real thing they need to help us with, is what problem should we solve? Because I see so many people working hard on the wrong things and it gets them absolutely nowhere.